A single humble question has the power to change lives, and this story is a perfect example. On a cold Christmas evening, a poor girl stepped into a softly lit cafe, its windows glowing with warmth and festive decorations. The smell of coffee and cinnamon filled the air, but her eyes were drawn to one man sitting alone at a corner table. He looked simple, quiet, and lost in thought. Gathering courage, she approached him and asked gently, "Is this seat only for the rich?" Her words were innocent, yet they carried the weight of a life shaped by struggle and rejection. For a moment, the man looked up, surprised. Instead of responding with arrogance or dismissal, he smiled and invited her to sit. That small act of kindness opened the door to an unexpected conversation. They spoke about life, dreams, and the meaning of Christmas. The girl shared her hardships, her hopes for a better future, and how often she felt invisible in a world divided by wealth. What she didn't know was that the man was actually a powerful CEO, someone used to boardrooms, luxury, and influence. Yet in that quiet cafe, he wasn't a businessman. He was simply a human being listening with empathy. Her honest question touched something deep within him, reminding him of values he had almost forgotten. That brief conversation changed everything. For the girl, it restored her faith in humanity. For the CEO, it reshaped his understanding of success and purpose. In that moment, a simple question proved that kindness can break barriers, and that sometimes the smallest voices create the biggest changes. At first glance, the man in the cafe seemed like any other customer enjoying a quiet Christmas evening. He wore simple clothes, had no bodyguards, and carried himself with calm humility. There was nothing about him that hinted at wealth or power. To the poor girl, he looked approachable, someone safe enough to ask a simple question without fear of rejection. She never imagined that behind his gentle smile and quiet presence was a man who led a global company and influenced the lives of thousands. As their conversation continued, small details slowly began to surface. His words were thoughtful, his understanding of the world deep, and his advice unusually wise. He spoke about leadership, responsibility, and the importance of treating people with dignity. The girl listened closely, sensing there was more to him than met the eye. Still, she assumed he was just a kind stranger with life experience. The truth was revealed later, in a way she never expected. Perhaps it was a phone call, a respectful greeting from a cafe manager, or news she saw afterward that made her heart stop for a moment. The ordinary man she had spoken to was, in fact, a powerful CEO, someone whose name appeared in headlines and whose success defined corporate greatness. Yet what surprised her most was not his status, but his humility. He never used his wealth to dominate the conversation or make her feel small. Instead, he listened. This revelation taught her a powerful lesson. Real greatness doesn't announce itself. True status lies not in appearance, money, or titles, but in how a person treats others when no one is watching. What began as a simple, almost hesitant request slowly unfolded into a moment that would change two lives forever. The poor girl had expected rejection, perhaps a cold look or a sharp reply reminding her of her place in society. Instead, she was met with warmth, respect, and a genuine invitation to sit. In that instant, the invisible wall between wealth and poverty quietly disappeared. Their conversation flowed naturally, without judgment or pride. The man did not see her as poor, and she did not see him as rich. They spoke as equals, sharing thoughts about life, loneliness, and the true meaning of Christmas. The girl felt heard, something she rarely experienced. For the first time in a long while, she realized that her voice mattered, regardless of her social standing. The CEO, on the other hand, was deeply moved by her honesty and courage. Her words reminded him that success is empty if it lacks compassion. Surrounded by wealth for most of his life, he had forgotten how powerful a small act of kindness could be. That brief meeting reconnected him with his humanity, teaching him that respect cannot be bought. It must be given freely. By the time they parted ways, both carried something priceless. The girl walked away with renewed hope and dignity, believing that kindness still exists in the world. The man left with a renewed sense of purpose. This moment proved that true richness is not measured by money, but by empathy, humility, and the willingness to treat every soul with respect.